Good morning, students. So, in the last class, we discussed about the inertia and types of inertia, and Newton's first law we have already completed. So, let us go for Newton's second law of motion. So, before going to discuss Newton's second law of motion, we need to discuss one point that is called as momentum here. So, what do you mean by momentum? Because our Newton's second law is based on the momentum concept. So, let us see this momentum here. What is momentum? It is the quantity of motion possessed by a moving body is known as momentum of the body. So when the bodies are in motion, it possesses this momentum. So what is momentum? It is nothing but it is related to the motion. So let us see its exact definition in physics. So see here, before going for the definition, first we will let us discuss on what factors momentum of a body depends. See here, first factor, the momentum of a body depends on the mass of the body. So how it depends on the mass of the body? Let us see. Consider two balls A and B. You have two balls A and B. One is heavier and one is lighter. One you can consider a football, one you can consider a tennis ball. Let them move with the same velocity. Let them move with the same velocity. Force required to stop ball A is greater than ball B. So two balls are there. Both are moving with the same velocity, but their masses are different. As we know that to stop heavier ball you need to apply more force than the force required to stop the lighter ball. So therefore we can say that the momentum is directly proportional to mass. For example, if you have a tennis ball and a football, to if both the balls are moving with same velocity, to stop a football you require more force than the tennis ball here. Therefore momentum is directly proportional to what? Mass of the body. Next, we say that momentum is directly proportional to the velocity of the body. So, how we can say this one here? See, if two balls are there which is moving with different velocity, but they are of the same size. That is, you can take two footballs, they are of the same size, but with different velocity it is moving. One is moving faster, one is moving slower. Here we can say that quantity of motion is directly proportional to the velocity of the body. Here if the ball is moving faster you need to apply more force than the ball is moving slower. So that is nothing but momentum is directly proportional to velocity. So what we understood by these two slides here, the momentum of the body, it is directly proportional to mass and it is directly proportional to velocity. So our momentum depends on two quantities, one is mass and one more is velocity. This momentum is denoted by the letter P. You can see here the momentum of a body is proportional to mass m of the body and velocity v of the body. Therefore, momentum P is equal to product of mass and velocity, where P is momentum, v is velocity, m is the mass of the body. Here the SI unit of momentum is, so units of a given quantity, how we write? See here, momentum P is equal to, it is m into v. Mass is measured in terms of kg. Velocity is measured in terms of meter per second. That is kg meter per second is the unit of a momentum of a body. Next, here we say that momentum and velocity are vector quantities. So what do you mean by vector quantity here? Vector quantity means the quantities which are having both magnitude and direction is called as vector quantity. Means, what is vector? Now we have two types of quantities, one is scalar quantity, one is vector quantity. So scalar quantity is means what? Which is having only magnitude. For example, now if I ask you time, you will say that it's 9 a.m. So here what you are saying? You are saying the only time. You don't specify direction towards east, west or south. You don't specify the direction here. Therefore, it is a scalar quantity. If you go to shop, you will just say that 10 kg of sugar, 5 kg of rice and all. Here also you specify only magnitude. Magnitude means what? The number 10 kg, 5 kg, 5 p.m., 10 a.m. That number is called as magnitude here. So the quantities which can be expressed only with the help of magnitude is called as scalar, and the quantities which expressed in terms of both magnitude and direction is called as vector quantity, is called as vector quantity. I hope it is clear to you. What is scalar, what is vector? So scalar quantity example is mass, length, time, distance covered by the body. These are all example. Vector quantity example, force, momentum, velocity, acceleration. These are example for vector quantities. Again in detail we will discuss about scalars and vector in the motion chapter. Okay, so here we have some example, that is momentum, how it is related with the speed of the body. So here with mass of the body, how it is related. Okay. So here you can see the nature of the graph, that momentum is directly proportional to mass. We say that momentum is directly proportional to mass. Therefore, it is a straight line curve. Straight line nature you will get because it is directly proportional. Velocity also same you are getting. Momentum is directly proportional to velocity. Therefore, it is a linear graph. Okay. So before going to see the Newton's second law here, let us see what do you mean by change in momentum. See here students, what is change in momentum? Change. Change is nothing but final minus initial will give you the change. For example, if you go to shop, you will purchase some stuffs of 90 rupees. If you pay 100 rupees, then remaining is what? 90 minus 9, sorry, 100 minus 90, that is 10. In the same way, the change in momentum is given by final momentum minus initial momentum. Just see the symbols in the screen, what we are using here. Delta P, that triangle you are seeing, no, that is called as delta P. So delta P is what? It is change in momentum. So delta, wherever you are using the delta symbol, triangle symbol is there, see, that it is called as change. It is called as change in momentum. Momentum is denoted by P. Okay. So next, PF is there, that is final momentum. PI is there, that is initial momentum. Final momentum and initial momentum are denoted as PF and PI. Delta P is what? Change in momentum. Okay. Next. So here we have the rate of change of momentum. What is rate of change of momentum? See students, in physics, wherever we say rate of change means here the quantity is changing with respect to time. The given quantity is changing with respect to time, that is called as rate of change. Here they are saying rate of change of what? Momentum. Means your momentum is changing with respect to time. Already we know that change in momentum is written as what? Final momentum minus initial momentum. Rate of change means what? That final and initial momentum is changing with respect to time. Now you can see it is written on the screen. Initial momentum is given by P1 is equal to m into u. U is initial velocity. M is mass of the body. Final momentum is given by P2 is equal to m into v. M is mass of the body. V is final velocity of the body. Change in momentum. What is change in momentum? Final momentum minus initial momentum is change in momentum. That is equal to mv minus mu. Mv is final momentum and mu is initial momentum. Here you can take out m common inside the bracket. It is v minus u. It is v minus u. Okay, so that is change in momentum. Time taken, suppose if it is t, then rate of change of momentum is written as m into bracket v minus u divided by t. It is m into bracket v minus u divided by t. This is called as rate of change of momentum. Means your momentum is changing with respect to time. Is it clear? So I hope this concept is clear to you. So based on rate of change of momentum, we have the Newton's second law of motion, which we will continue in the next class. Okay.